He did midnights. He did middays. He's co-host of the Joe and Evan show, which, by the way, had the best jingle ever. And during this time of year, when Mike was on vacation, if you tuned in at 105 to WFAN and you heard Joe and Evan singing terribly the Mike's On song, you knew it was going to be a good day. He started out as Joe from Saddle River. His name is Joe Benigno. Joe, welcome to the show.
Guys, Bob, Brett, how you doing?
Hey, Joe.
Hope all is well.
All is well.
Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
How's retirement treating you? I see you got a new podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, podcast is gone. We're doing it. It's the Older Pain podcast, aptly named, and we're doing it twice a week. I do a Monday. I do a Friday. You can catch it on Spotify, some other places. Do interviews. We've been doing mostly the last couple of weeks. We've been mostly doing just regular my ranting away about various subjects, but. You can catch it on Monday night. You can catch tonight's probably later on. I don't know what time she posted it. Probably about 7:30 or so. I'm sure you'll catch today. So, it's been going pretty well.
I love the podcast. I was listening to your Mike Westhoff interview, and I couldn't get enough of it. I mean, the insights from him on the Jets coaching, and specifically into Herm Edwards and those years was just absolutely amazing. And the years he spent coaching, and just a great interview between the two of you.
Yeah, we'll be doing more interviews coming up down the road. Like I said, right now I've been concentrating a little more on just throwing my thoughts out there. But we got more guys lined up going forward for sure.
Well, Joe, I wanted to start off with just quickly the Rangers. I know you're a Ranger fan. I actually met you. You were at the urinal next to me, probably year 2000. but not to make things weird or anything. But, this was one of the more fun Ranger teams, more likable Ranger teams I've ever had in my life. I mean, obviously, 94. What do you think about them? What do you think about the Rangers' future going forward?
Well, I mean, look, it looks pretty bright. It looks pretty bright. I mean, they made a big run last year. No question about that. I think they surprised some people. But, look, you got a lot of firepower with this team. Kreider, Zibanejad, Panarin. Got a lot of nice young players on this team. Philip Hedl. I don't know what was going on with Kako. I don't know why Gallant benched him that last game. I don't get that, but whatever. Lafreniere, Keandre Miller. They got a lot of good young players on this team. Obviously, the goalie is terrific. You got one of the better, if not the best defenseman in the league in Fox. They're a good team. I mean, they're a team that's got a chance to win. And certainly going forward should be making a lot of deep playoff runs. I think they traded Georgiev today for draft choices. We'll see. There's going to be a new backup goalie for the Rangers going into next year. But, I like Gallant. I like what Chris Drury's doing. And we'll see. The future is bright for the Rangers.
Yeah, I agree.
But they need to win.
They did.
We saw just the one more thing. They made a lot of deep runs with Lundqvist. They only got that 1 year into the finals when they lost to the Kings in 2014. And this run was similar to those runs. They need to win. They need to get a cup. It's been a long time. It's been 28 years.
Yeah,
it's 28 years already.
If you want to be that goalie to get to that legendary status, it can't just be Eastern Conference Finals and getting to the finals. You got to win the cup.
But to be fair,
well, you know what? Though I will say that. I mean, I think the Rangers have had a couple guys that I think are pretty legendary, and they didn't win. I mean, Lundqvist and Eddie Giacomin.
Gilbert.
So I don't know if I would. I completely agree with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, you know what? Looking back on it now, I could say it was a fun team. I love the team. I enjoyed a great season. But you know what, Joe? You're up 2-0. You're up 2-0 in the second period. Yeah, well, you got to win that series.
Look, they were up 2-0, and then the game, immediately, they gave up a goal, right after that. Yeah, I mean, look, they're still a young team. I think you got to learn how to win. They were up against a two-time defending champion, even though they wound up losing in the finals to Colorado. So they were up against a team that knew how to win. So I don't want to go nuts on that yet. Let's see what they do next year. But it was certainly a very good learning experience for them going into next season. There's no doubt about it.
I completely agree. Now we'll move over to a win-now team, the Mets. Wow. You're a Mets fan. We're all three of us. We're all three Mets fans. We're Yankee haters.
Yep.
What do you think about this? What do you think about we're getting DeGrom actually pitches tonight? I'm down on DeGrom a little bit.
To me, Jacob DeGrom's not even on the team. Until I see Jacob DeGrom pitch, he's not. He doesn't exist in my mind, okay? Yeah. Let me start with that. This guy hasn't pitched. I'm down on DeGrom. The guy hasn't pitched for a year.
Yep.
The guy's ready to opt out of his contract. I got a lot of issues with DeGrom. I'll believe he's back when he's back.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll leave it at that.
I agree, because you know what? And it doesn't seem like he's ever even really hurt. He'll pitch like 8 innings, 9 strikeouts, 2 runs, and then all of a sudden the Mets will come out in the press conference and say they're sending for an MRI.
You know what, guys? Here's what I hope happens with DeGrom. Come back, help our team, pitch great, help our team win a World Series, and then you can go. Goodbye. I would not re-sign him. I would not give this guy big money going forward. If I'm the Mets, absolutely not.
How can you trust that he's going to be there for you, that he's going to have the innings?
You can't.
You can't. This year, it might be the best thing that happened to us for him not to be around the first half, because I don't think there's any chance that you're getting a full season plus postseason out of him at the top level, which it just seems he can't recover.
Look, the bottom line with the Mets is this. They're 21 games over 500. They got a 4-game loss column lead over the Braves, and the Braves, big series coming up next week, by the way, in Atlanta, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But they haven't had DeGrom all year. Scherzer missed 6 weeks, whatever, and this is where they are. We would have all signed for that going into the season. Yep. Everybody.
And now to be on the opposite side of that, which I don't even think this really exists, but the optimistic Mets fan, you could say we'd all sign up for this. We all would have signed up for this start, being 4 games up or 3 games up, whatever it is, against the Braves at this point in the season.
4 and a loss, 3.5, 4 and a loss.
Correct. And I'm of the age. You probably hate the Cubs and the Cardinals more. We hate the Braves.
Yep.
That's our generation.
Right.
Our generation hates the Braves.
Well, I hate a lot of them. I hate everybody that plays the Mets. So,
It's true.
Yeah.
I'm not the Cardinals. I can't. I'll tell you a team I can't stand. You know what I can't stand more than anybody now? Yeah. And this wasn't the case growing up. When I was growing up, I actually liked this team because I was a big fan of Sandy Koufax and all that.
The Dodgers.
I hate the freaking Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
I hate them.
Yeah.
Tommy Lasorda, I couldn't stand Tommy Lasorda. All right, and you guys are young, but the loss in the playoffs to the Dodgers in '88 was the most brutal. You could talk about whatever, 2006 was brutal against the Cardinals. Whatever you want to say, losing the World Series to the Royals in 2015, losing to the Yankees. There was nothing worse than that loss in '88 to the freaking Dodgers in the playoffs.
We were
They'd beaten the Dodgers 10 out of 11 times during the year. I hated Tommy Lasorda.
Do you hate Socha because of the home run?
May you rest in peace. May you rest in peace, Tommy, but I couldn't stand it.
What about Socha? You got to hate Socha then, too.
I don't hate Socha.
Socha's
I really
the home
don't.
run, right?
It's not. You know what? He did, but it's not a matter of hating him. It was a big mistake. Look, Davey Johnson was a tremendous manager. Davey Johnson should have his number retired by the Mets. They should have the 2 number 5s, Davey, and then later on, eventually David Wright. But they're never going to do that. But whatever. Davey, the biggest mistake Davey made in his managerial run with the Mets, with all the games he won, was that he let his heart get in the way in that game and let Doc. He wanted Doc to finish that game 4 against the Dodgers at Shea, and he should have put Randy Myers in the game to pitch to Socha, and that came back to kill him.
You think that's worse?
So I have no great ill will to. Let's put it this way: Mike Socha was the manager of a couple Angel teams that beat the Yankees in the playoffs. So you can't beat. So I don't blame Socha that much. It was the whole way that they didn't win. They should have won that series.
Do you think that's worse than?
I hate the Dodgers.
You think that's worse than leaving Harvey in for the 9th inning?
Same thing, right?
Oh, it's not even close.
No.
So you got to understand that team. That is the greatest run of Met baseball. That run, the '80s run. I'll say from 1984 through 1990.
That's when we were into it.
To me, that is the best. If they had the wild card back then, the Mets would have been in playoffs every year.
Yep.
The Mets had a 98 win season. They didn't make the playoffs. They lost the division to the Cardinals by 3 games in 1985.
It's terrible.
So this team had won in '86. They won 100 games. 1988, they were a 100-win team, right? They ran away with the division, and like I said, they beat the Dodgers up during the year. They played them 11 times during the season. They beat them 10 out of 11, and to lose that was there's no worse loss in the history of the franchise, as far as I'm concerned. And I've seen it from day one.
Right.
I've been a Met fan since day one, 1962. I was 9 years old. Nothing worse than that.
Did you think that was it? After that, did you know that was going to be the end of the run? Did you think, or did you think?
Well, they still had a couple good years. They were a contender. They were a contender in '89, and Cubs wound up winning the division that year. '90, they won 91 games in 1990. They wound up losing the last week of the season to the Pirates, and then of course everything went to went to hell. Strawberry left, and all of that.
Yeah, I was the Strawberry guy.
Then he went to the Dodgers, the team that we hated.
He went to the Dodgers. Yep. He had one good year with the Dodgers, and that was it. And I know Darryl a little bit. He's always was good to me when I was, when I was on the air, and he's told me many times that biggest mistake he made was leaving the Mets.
Wow.
Should have never left.
Wow. Now
but I blame Frank Cashin a lot for that too. I really do.
Yeah,
so, I don't want to get into it all.
Now I can see. For me, I had a couple bad experiences just, randomly running into Keith Hernandez. I love Keith, and I hate to even say this. I hate saying it. I love Keith Hernandez as a Met. To me, he's a jerk as a person, but I'm not going for that reason. I'm not going this weekend. Right. But do you think he belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Mets Hall of Fame.
Do I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame? Well, let's put it this way. Unfortunately for Keith, all right, there's a couple things that work against Keith. Number one, he's a first baseman that didn't hit a home run. He was not a home run hitter. Now, the other thing that works against him is the fact that he got involved in that drug trial, the cocaine situation, which is really why he got traded to the Mets in the first place, because he was doing coke. He wound up being part of that whole trial.
Yep.
So those two things kind of work against him as far as the Hall of Fame. With that said, the guy is without a doubt, certainly that I ever saw, the greatest defensive first baseman of all time.
Yep,
I mean,
for sure.
There should be something for that. You know what I mean? He played first base like Ozzie Smith played shortstop. Like the great Brooks Robinson played third base. That's how Keith played first base. So he was a great clutch hitter. I don't think he quite hit 300. I think his lifetime average was like 297.
Yeah, it's 298.
But I think it hurts though. Look, he won. Right, he won 2 championships. He won championship with the Cardinals. He won championship with the Mets. Look, I think he is, but he's never going to get in.
No, he's not. He's not going to get in. Now, I think it's good that they're retiring his number this year. What do you want to see a Mets? I don't want to see Mets Yankees because I can't deal with another loss. God forbid.
No, I really don't. There's a number of reasons why I wouldn't. Even though that series would be, the Yankees would really have all the pressure on them in that series more than the Mets would. But I wouldn't. I want. If my team is going to be in the world, it's the same thing with the Jets. I would never want a Jet-Giants Super Bowl. I want my team to be the focus of the city. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I don't want to have to share that with the Yankees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different feel in the city when the Mets are good.
Well, I think the Astros are going to take care of that for us anyway. But
yeah, the Astros are good. And
we'll see. Look. There's a lot of pressure on. As far as I'm concerned, the Yankees have tremendous pressure on them.
It is.
They never lose. They're running away with the division. Who knows if they have to win more games than any team in baseball history. They still have a chance to do that. They have to win a World Series, man. Not just get there. They haven't won a World Series since 2009. This team, the Aaron Judge era, if you want to call that what we're in right now. I don't know what else I would call it. I can't say Aaron Boone because you had Girardi there too in the first. The year they lost to Houston the first time.
It's Judge's team now.
They got to win.
Yeah.
They got to win, bro. They got to win the World Series. That's it. There's case closed for the Yankees.
Well, and that's how it is with their fans. They got to win the World Series. Now, speaking of Judge, to me, Ohtani's the MVP in that league. I know Judge is having a huge year.
I don't want to hear it. Yeah, here's why I disagree with that. Okay, because the Angels stink. The Angels have a worse record than the freaking Baltimore Orioles.
Did you see the numbers?
I'm sick and tired of hearing about Mike.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Mike Trout and Ohtani. Oh, yeah, he's great. I understand. He pitches, he hits, you can't touch him as a pitcher. I get the whole thing. I get it. How about winning? Why doesn't that team ever freaking win? All right?
The Angels are huge, but they've been disappointed forever.
If you're going to be if you're the most valuable, he may be the best all-around player in the game, but he's not the most valuable player in the game.
But Joe,
because his team doesn't win.
You know as well as anybody that award goes to the best player, to the best player, not the most valuable.
But it's the best guy.
But you understand what I'm saying. That's why I disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's why I disagree. His team stinks. What, 8 games under 500?
Yep.
How about winning something? Mike Trout too. We hear about Mike Trout. Everybody goes delirious over Mike Trout. Win something, Mike.
He's wasting his career over there.
Has he ever been to the playoffs?
A decade.
Has he been to the playoffs?
A decade.
One time?
Yeah, he's been to the playoffs once. One time he's been to the playoffs.
Wasting his career.
Give me a freaking break.
Yeah,
give me a break. Go win.
I can see that. You're right. You know what? You're right. I think he's.
I'm tired of hearing that crap. Yep. Aaron Judge is the best player on the best team in baseball. Okay, that's what he is. He's the best player on the best team in baseball. Ohtani's great. Tony's great. I'm not knocking how good he is. He's unbelievable talent.
The Angels could lose 90 games without Otani.
They don't win. Right. That's right. So Baltimore's got a better record than them. Think about it.
That's terrible.
I'm not serious. I mean,
I know.
And think about this with the Yankees, too. And I don't like the Yankees either, but think about this with the Yankees, too. The Yankees are running away with their division. Every other team in their division right now that's not named the Baltimore Orioles would make the playoffs today.
Amazing.
That shows you how good the Yankees are.
Yeah.
The Red Sox, Rays, and Jays all would be in the playoffs right now if the season ends.
Which is crazy.
And the Yankees are running away with it.
Yeah, they're up 14 games.
We're giving the MVP. We're giving the MVP to Otani. All right? No, I'm sorry.
No,
I got a problem with that.
You make a good
I do
case.
too. I think he goes to the best player on the best team. I mean, it's one thing if you go out and have some year that's so above everybody else and you're on a mediocre team and you go hit 70 home runs and, that's a different story. But when you have Aaron Judge, he's selling it. Aaron Judge.
But there's precedent for this. I mean, look, Ernie Banks won back-to-back MVPs with the Cubs in the 50s on last-place team.
Yes.
So I mean, this kind of thing has happened in the past before.
It's politics.
So I mean, there's other examples.
It's politics with the votes, with the writers and everything. There's all kinds of stuff involved.
Don't get me started on the Baseball Writers Association because it's a joke. When we start talking about the Hall of Fame and that stuff, I mean, it makes me absolutely crazy. Please,
I know.
The holier than now Baseball Writers Association of America.
They are because they hold the key.
They're on a different. These guys are on a different moral high ground than most of us. Let me leave it at that.
And the funny thing is you talk to a couple of them every week for years.
I got into these kind of arguments with these guys all the time. Albert Bell should be in the freaking Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. You look at this guy's numbers. He's one of the great right-hand hitters of all time. Yeah. But because he didn't talk to the writers, they screwed him. He got hosed out of an MVP that he won easily in 1995. I mean, I don't want to start breaking the stats down.
It's so much fun to watch that year.
It's an absolute joke, okay? Give me a break. And I'll tell you right now, too, I would put all Pete Rose, of course, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's a given. I don't care that he bet on baseball. I don't give it to him.
Of course not.
He should be in. And all the steroid guys should be in. Every one of them.
I don't know.
Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, A-Rod. I want them all in there. Give me a break. Mark McGuire, they knew these guys were doing it. Baseball knew. Bud Selig, who, by the way, is in the Hall of Fame. They couldn't wait to get him in. Bud Selig, they all knew about it. McGuire and Sosa, the home run chase in 1998. Baseball coming back after the strike in 94 and all of that. And they celebrated it. You think they didn't know what these guys were freaking doing? Give me a break.
I mean, you had NBC
and then they turned around and hosed them.
You had NBC cutting out of their primetime Thursday night to show a bat from McGuire.
That's right, 100% right. And I think the game he hit the home run was on prime time. The one he hit against Traxel
it was on Fox.
Right? Wasn't that on?
It was.
Yeah. Wasn't it on national TV, or was it just in a box?
Well, I remember that
it was just in a box.
I don't know. Maybe because I remember every game like from 60 on. They would break whatever you were watching, whatever game you were watching. They would break into that game and go live to St. Louis or go live here.
Right. You know what? You're right. You're right.
It might have been. It might have been on Fox, but I'm trying to remember who made the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember now who made. Well, probably was Joe Buck.
Well, if it was Fox, it was Joe Buck. Because he was flying. Yeah, he was St. Louis.
It had to be Joe Buck.
It was Joe Buck. Yeah. That low liner.
Hey, listen. Speaking of Joe Buck, just real quickly, I don't know why all the hatred for Joe Buck. I think he's good. He's the voice of our generation.
You know what? I only say this about Joe Buck. Okay, forget the baseball. He's good baseball, but forget it. I had a hard time when he first started doing the NFL. Being a big NFL guy. I never liked him, but I have completely now warmed up to him. Him and Aikman are terrific. Now they're going to be Monday Night Football.
They are.
They're doing Monday Night Football now, Buck and Aikman.
You see the money they got
from Fox.
You see the money they got
from them, yeah.
Of course.
How do they make that money back? I don't understand. They pay them so much money, and we're watching the game either way. We might complain about the announcers, but we're going to watch the game either way.
Right.
Oh. And they're giving these guys
you're not watching the game. You're not watching the game for the announcers, of course.
Yeah, we're talking about them now. And they normally would never get talked about. But
they become stars. I mean, let's be honest. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo were the stars.
Tom Brady's got his contract.
Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth the star. I mean, that's what it is now. John Madden and Pat Summerall, they were stars. I mean, they were maybe the best that ever did it, but they were freaking stars.
Tony Romo is the new John Madden.
Yeah, well.
And I like him. I like Tony Romo.
John Madden, Romo's very good. He's different than that. He's very good, but he's different than that.
And you know who gets shortchanged all the time is Iron Eagle. He's great at basketball. He's
Iron
great.
Eagle
One of the best.
Iron Eagle is the premier play-by-play man in sports today.
Okay,
he's tremendous in basketball. He's tremendous in football. I know he doesn't. I asked him about doing baseball. He says, "Well, my wife will divorce me if I do baseball." So
he does tennis though too.
I just love listening to him on.
He does everything.
Yeah,
he's tremendous. Right. Iron Eagle is phenomenal.
That's 100. You're right. He's the premier broadcaster in America today. I agree with that.
No doubt.
Now let's switch over. Now let's do some Jets. What do you think, Joe Klecko? Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes, of course.
He got.
Joe Klecko won't get in the Hall of Fame because his team never won nothing. Because the Jets, they made the playoffs a number of times with Klecko, but they never won a thing. Even with the sack exchange, which was a big deal and all of that. Look, the guy was a Pro Bowler at 3 different positions. He's one of the great defensive tackles of all time. Nobody ever wants to talk about him in the same vein as Mean Joe Green or Bob Lilly or Reggie White or these guys. But you know what? He's right there. He was unbelievable. He was so good. And obviously injuries slowed his career down a little bit. He had some big injuries over his career. But Klecko clearly is no question about it.
Aren't you arguing against yourself there, though? Because you were just arguing that win something with the other guys.
You know what? But I think I think football's a little, unless you're a quarterback, I think it's a little different in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
football's
I can see that.
such a, you know what I mean? Unless you're a quarterback, to me, quarterbacks are measured by winning. And look, there's a quarterback that didn't win in Hall of Famers like Dan Marino.
Yeah.
And there's no question that he's one of the great quarterbacks of all time. And again, I'm not saying that Ohtani, going back to our argument, I'm not saying that Ohtani or Mike Trout don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, no,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
I'm not saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They belong in it. They're gonna be Hall of Famers. I mean, there's plenty of guys that didn't win. Like Ernie Banks clearly is a Hall of Famer. I mentioned him earlier. Ernie Banks is clearly a Hall of Famer, but his team never won nothing.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you shouldn't be the MVP of the league when your team finishes last. You know what I mean?
No, I just wanted to clear it up.
That's my point. It's different. That's a separate issue from the Hall of Fame.
Someone
listening,
tuning in, but 2 minutes ago, before might have been like, you thought you were picking Ohtani last in gym class, and then you
he is. But you look at a guy like Joe Klecko, and he's playing a position where even on a bad team, you're really having a one-on-one matchup every day, and if you are that good at your position, it shows every day, and you can say you're a Hall of Famer. And back then, guys stayed with that team for a long time, and it's a little different situation.
Look, Klecko was great. That defensive line was tremendous. Mark Gastineau was a tremendous player. Doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Correct.
That counts.
He was more than just a one-dimensional pass rusher. I'll tell you right now. There's no doubt about it. But they were a good team. The coaching, Walt Michaels was a pretty decent coach, but Joe Walton was a terrible coach. They really never had a quarterback. Richard Todd would never win a championship with him. Kenny O'Brien was okay. But,
Boomer was okay. Boomer was at the end of his career. But I mean, listen. Now, how do you feel about the new guy? You got the new you got Joe Douglas, Saleh, and where are you stand on Zach Wilson?
I like Wilson. I think he's got a chance to really be good. He's got great escapability. He can throw the ball. He's got a great arm. We'll see. We'll see about his durability and all that. I'm concerned about the coach. I was all for Saleh. I wanted him. Watching him in San Francisco when he was defensive coordinator, he's a guy I actually said, boy, let's bring this guy in. I was thrilled when they did and they hired him. I was very disappointed what I got from him last year. So I'm a little concerned about Saleh. I think he's a little too maybe easy on his players. I don't know if there's enough accountability there. I mean, again, I'm on the outside looking in, but this is the impression I get. I don't know if there's enough accountability there. I don't like, for a guy that's a defensive guy, how the defense got trampled in some games last year. And I understand, we're not talking about the steel curtain here on defense. I get that, right? The 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens. I understand. 2002 Tampa Bay Bucks. And we're not talking about those kind of defensive teams. But still, that game against the Patriots when they put 55 on them, I mean, come on. I mean, we're not talking about Tom Brady. And let's be honest, Mac Jones is okay. I think he kind of got exposed as the year went on.
I think he has.
Bill was doing it. Bill did it with smoke and mirrors last year. Let's be real.
Yeah, but
they won 10 games and made
they
the playoffs.
55 points. And now, I mean, the quarterback, the Jets.
How about the game against the Colts? Remember, the Colts trampled them too. They got trampled by the Colts.
Oh yeah.
They got trampled by the Patriots. You know, they got trampled by the Eagles. They got trampled by Buffalo the first time at MetLife. I mean, give me a break.
Well, and it's not like, they really didn't do much in the draft to bolster the defense either. I mean, I think they had a good draft.
Wait a minute. How do you say that?
Well,
you didn't do much in the draft.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you talking about last year? You talking about last year's team?
Yes. Yeah.
But you talking about last year's team?
Okay. But yeah,
all right. Because I was going to say, I mean, they drafted Sauce Gardner and Johnson.
That's it. Now they're. I think this year was just unbelievable.
Joe, he was talking about the Knicks. He was talking about the Knicks.
Oh, is that what you're talking about? How did we get to the Knicks from the Jets?
We're definitely not on the Knicks.
Kidding.
No, but I really think this year they made some big moves where to have a cornerback like Sauce Gardner or have Jermaine Johnson.
Well, I like the draft. Well, first of all, remember one thing too. Remember Carl Wilson is coming back too. Now we don't know we're gonna. We didn't see this guy play all last year with this injury he got in training camp. So I mean, you got to look at him as almost like a big free agent signing that you're bringing in.
But now you say you're down on the coach. I think one of the main problems with the Jets is they just keep switching. I mean, it's a rotating door with coaches and with GMs. That you can never get a quarterback that's going to really develop into anything without that.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Look, Todd Bowles was here for 4 years. Okay, 4 years he was here. Was he any good? In fact, he was here probably 2 years longer than he should have been, as far as I'm concerned. He lost the team his second year. All right. You wanted Adam Gase should have been here more than 2 years. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but sometimes you got to let these guys go. And you know what? Robert Saleh, don't tell me you're going 6-11 this year and tell me the team is better. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
No,
it's time for I got to see my team start to freaking win. I've had it. Opening day when they play the Ravens on opening day, to me, this is crazy. That's a must-win game.
Oh yeah,
I got to go out and freaking beat the Ravens at home. They haven't won a September game since 2018. Sam Darnold's first game when they beat the Lions.
That's right.
Right, Monday Night Football. That's the last time they won a September game. Okay, wow. I've had enough.
Yeah,
I don't want to be 0-4 and the season's over before freaking Thanksgiving.
What do you think?
You got to give me.
What do you think their record is? How do you think they're doing this year?
I don't know.
What do you want? What do you want?
I'm not accepting 6-11.
You want a playoff win? You want a playoff game? I mean,
cool. How about why can't they be 9-8? Why not? With all these guys they brought in, if these guys are all turned out to be the first draft fight Douglas had was a disaster. Mekhi Becton. The one thing I will say, okay, he's a joke. It's ridiculous. Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, and Ashton Davis. Those were the top 3 picks in the first draft Douglas had. That's an absolute disaster.
How fat is Mekhi Becton?
And the one thing I might have done. What's that?
How fat is Mekhi Becton?
Yeah, he's terrible.
I don't know. He's like 400 pounds. He's hurt he probably missed the whole year. He was hurt most of the first year, rookie year, 2 years ago. He was hurt all of last year. He played 10 minutes in the first game. He didn't see him again. He comes into camp. He's way overweight. See, I like Sauce Gardner. Don't get me wrong. It was a very good pick.
Yes.
I think I would have took one of these tackles that were there.
Definitely.
Either the guy for the Giants took Neal,
yes,
or the other guy, I forget where he went, from North Carolina.
I can't believe they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants.
I might have done that because I got no confidence in Becton at all.
I mean, the Giants. The Giants are in worse shape because they don't have a quarterback. They don't. The running back pick has turned out to be a complete nightmare.
But the Giants, you know what though? The Giants right now they got another new regime in now. They got Shane in now. They got Dable in. Those guys got a grace period the first year.
Yes, I agree. This is
to me. It's all about to make the decision about Daniel Jones. He's on the last year of his contract. So they got like a grace year first year to see what's going on.
I agree. He's not. Daniel Jones isn't the guy, and somehow I don't know how they found the guy worse to coach, the last coach, than Ray Hanley. Like I didn't think that was a thing. A worse coach than Ray Hanley.
No, I don't know if there's too many worse coaches, and Ray Hanley was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Ray Hanley walked into a championship team and didn't exactly light it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like Carlos Baerga and Alomar for the Mets. They come in and they just trash. And even
this guy. How about Lindor? How about this guy? Can you believe that they gave you? I'm glad you brought those up. He's not as bad as Baerga or Alomar, but they gave this guy $35 million a year, $350 million for 10 years. What the hell were they thinking with this guy?
Yeah, he's not.
I mean, really, seriously. I mean, I didn't love the trade anyway.
He's a good player.
He's okay. Okay, is he $35 million a year player?
No, if you were paying him mid-range money, you'd be like, all right, he's doing pretty good.
They should have never paid him.
If you say you're an elite player,
why did they give this guy that? They didn't have to give him that contract. They should have let him. Let's see what he does the first year. And at the end of the year, you pay him. Don't give him the contract before he even did anything last year.
Were they just showing people they're back on the map?
Did he get a big hit? Can freaking Lindor get a big hit?
No.
I know he had that run where he was driving in a lot of runs, okay? Mostly because he was hitting in front of Pete, okay?
Yeah.
But this guy, he's never going to carry. He's never carrying the team.
No, but Alonso
and if Alonso got hurt, they're in trouble.
Big trouble.
If Alonso got hurt, they're in trouble. He's their MVP.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Now, I'm worried about the bullpen. The bullpen is my big... But you know what? Everybody...
Yeah, you should worry about it.
Everybody that's not named Mariano Rivera is completely unreliable as far as a relief pitcher.
Well, I'll tell you why. I will say this. Even though he still scares me, and he worries me in a big spot, you got to give Edwin Diaz credit because he's been terrific this year. Now, do I think that... like I said... a big playoff game in October? Do I got tremendous confidence in Edwin Diaz? No.
But Diaz was good at this time of year.
Right now, the guy's really pitched well. You got to give him credit. He's pitched well.
He has. He's pitched very well.
Everybody else thinks.
He's not just getting the saves. He's actually pitching nasty. He's not just getting through these games. He's really like.
But you know who else pitched well?
He pitched well.
17 strikeouts
you know who else
for
pitched
9
well
innings?
during this time of year? Armando Benitez. I've seen him do it. Maybe not this good. Maybe not this good.
I'm not saying that I got confidence in Diaz in big games down the road. But right now, what we've seen through the first half of the season, there's no denying he's pitched very well.
At least that's
my point.
At least he's got the strike zone, and it's not just his confidence is totally shaken like we had seen in the past, where, that may happen in the future, but right now we'll stick with, at least something.
I was at the game the other day against the Astros. And I don't want to say big game, but it was a big game. It felt bigger than it really was because it's really still just a, late June game. But he brought him in the 8th inning. He mowed through the lineup, and then he put in Smith in the 9th, and they gave up the home run to the guy.
He can't pitch
to the backup catcher. To the backup catcher, Castro. Houston, let's be honest. I mean, Houston might be the best team in baseball. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have been the best team in baseball for the last 6 years. They've been in the ALCS every year. Since 2017, they've been to the World Series 3 times. Could have easily won 3. They did win the 1. They could have easily won 3. So they're a terrific team, and they're probably the one team that could beat the Yankees in the playoffs.
Yeah, they could beat the Yankees in the playoffs. If the Yankees don't hit, I mean, look, the Mets were a big offensive team the whole first half of the season, but they've basically been beaten up on the division. And I know you got to play who's in front of you, and then they're like 500 outside the division. So I'm not sold on the Mets yet.
Well, you need a bat. We might need a bat if these guys aren't hitting. I mean, I
know the last couple nights, J.D. Davis had a big game last night.
He's no good.
Dom Smith had a big hit the other night. James McCann's had a couple big hits the last couple nights.
Everybody's.
But they clearly, Escobar had that week where he hit a bunch of home runs in 3 straight games last week against Texas, I think it was.
Yep.
I understand that, but they still they could use another guy, another bat. And I wouldn't mind. I've heard Nelson Cruz's name mentioned from Washington. That wouldn't be a bad guy to get to be the DH.
It's not going to cost you that much.
Guy with some pop. He's got a lot of power. Right, he ain't going to cost you much. And they do need another bat, and I think they probably need another arm, at least one more arm in the bullpen. So.
Have to.
But don't you think maybe could maybe that bat be the kid for Alvarez from the minors? The catcher?
Well, I would bring it. You know what? I'm good with that, too. I would bring Alvarez up. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You want to make him the DH? I'm in. Let's go.
And if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. And if it does, then you're
bring him up. Why does he have to catch right now? You know what? That's not a bad idea. Why does he have to catch right now?
He does not.
Let McCann catch. I don't love McCann, but apparently the pitchers love him. He's very good behind the plate. Whatever he does with the pitches, he works well. Fine, okay, because he's a terrible hitter, even though he had some big hits the last couple nights.
And if you could if you can
make Alvarez the DH, I'm in.
If you can infuse that into the lineup as a bat, and then DeGrom comes back as kind of like almost like a trade deadline pickup, and he just gives you 10 starts.
Focus on the reliever. We might be all right. Focus on getting a reliever. Put your money into that, and you can bolster your bullpen.
They're a good team. Look, you know what? They've showed me they're a very resilient team. They've won some games this year that they would never win in the past. Even the game the other night against Cincinnati. I mean, that game they needed to win that game. That was a big game for them.
That was a huge game.
To come out of Cincinnati losing 2 out of 3 to that crummy, the worst team in the league, and not hit. I mean, they got beat 1-0 the night before. They wasted Scherzer pitching that game the night before. And then So that was a big win.
It was 2-1. It was 2-1 going into the ninth.
Starling Marte's been a terrific pickup for them. Starling Marte's a tremendous player.
The worst part of his game has been stealing bases. Everything else has been the best. It really is.
No, he's very good, Marte.
And you know what?
100% better than Michael Conforto. He's a much better player than Conforto.
Yeah. And it's a different. And Nimmo's played well too. He's played very good defensively.
Nimmo, they better sign Nimmo. Let me tell you right now, Nimmo's a free agent at the end of the year. They better sign him.
He wants to be
here. He's a homegrown Met.
Yep.
He's an underrated player. He's a terrific two-way player.
Money.
He hustles all over the field.
You will regret.
He's an on-base machine. I want Nimmo signed. They got to get that done.
Yep. I think they signed Nimmo. I think they'll. I mean, look,
they better.
Conforto's still out there. Conforto's still a man without a home.
Yeah, Conforto. You know what? I like Conforto, but I watch Starling Marte play. Starling Marte is 100% better player than Conforto.
Yep.
He doesn't hit home runs like Conforto. He's a much better player.
There's something about
he's
that
a clutch player. He's got some big hits for them. Defensively, he's terrific. He's got a great arm in right field.
He took over that ball the other day from Nimmo in center, and he's got it and he really they really learned to play well out there together.
He's a good player, man. He's
so
good.
important late in games.
All the guys they brought. I know Escobar's been a little bit of a disappointment, but even Mark Canna's a really good player.
Yeah,
he's good. That was a very good free agent
solid hitter.
sign.
And McNeil's got a batting title in him. Somewhere down the line.
McNeil's a hitter. McNeil's
another guy.
He's a lowercase Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. He got back to himself this year, too. He actually finally reined it in a little bit, realized what he's got to do to be a true major leaguer.
Who batted 320 today? He's batting 320.
Yeah.
And if you asked him, he's not having a great season because I'm telling you, he thinks he can do more right now. Because and I have good things for him for the next few years. They need to sign him up.
He's a good player. Jeff McNeil's a very good player. Terrific hitter.
And I think it's just a different feel. They do the little thing. They seem to do the little things. They don't make those stupid mistakes where you're just banging your head against the wall. And I think you can accredit that to Showalter.
Good manager. Yeah.
Well, that's the biggest move they made all off season was bringing in Showalter. Showalter, to me, there's not a lot of managers in baseball that really make a difference for their team. Buck Showalter does, and we've seen it already. I mean, just some of the things with the rules. I mean, it's just crazy stuff with that double review. Remember that he had that overturn, double review, and he wound up with getting the bases loaded. And I think it was Lindor hit a big double after that to clear the bases. I mean, it's the kind of thing Buck's been doing. He's a great manager, and look, he's never won a World Series. It's time. Let him win his World Series with the Mets.
I agree. And he had a thing with you mentioned the rules. It was Nimmo was going. It was like a ground ball to second, and Nimmo was going from first to second, and he slid.
That's the play. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I would have never even thought of that.
Yeah, so good.
Like, where did you come up with it? He's like Belichick almost. I mean, I don't want to say that, but he's like that kind of guy. Just details.
Right. Yep.
And that works, and it shows
Buck has been great. Buck has been he's been their biggest. Some of the look, Luis Rojas was way over his head.
Yes.
They should have never made him the manager. Beltran got hosed. I don't want to get into all that, but Rojas was way over his head. The other idiot, Callaway, what a joke! He sent the pictures to freaking the deal with that. What a disaster he was. And even Terry Collins. Terry Collins. I know they went to the World Series with Terry Collins. They had that playoff year the year after too. But I never thought he was any kind of really good manager. The last really good manager they had before Buck was Bobby V.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, I like Bobby V.
Really good. Willie Randolph wasn't bad. I will say this: Willie Randolph was not a bad manager.
The way they let him go was,
and I still wonder why Willie has never gotten another job.
Yeah, it's so weird.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, I don't know. They said that about Buck though, and then now he's
right.
surfaced.
I mean, right?
Yeah, no, you're right because he was a good. And he went through the levels. He was like
the players
with the Yankees,
respected him. Yeah, he knew what he was doing too, and he actually he pushed that team.
Willie was a good manager. That team should have. That 06 team should have been in the World Series.
And,
what are you going to do?
And Buck got a raw deal with the Yankees.
I don't want to. What's that?
Buck got a raw deal with the Yankees.
Yes, he did. Buck got a very. I don't know what the deal was with him and George. It was something with him and Steinbrenner. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, because those were his teams that won those titles, or at least the first one.
Yeah. Well, he set the team up. But look, you can't take it away from Torre, man. I mean, look, one thing about Joe Torre. Okay, the guy won 4 championships. He went to 6 World Series with the Mets. I wish that's Freudian thinking. Freudian slip.
Yeah.
He wasn't a very good with the Mets. He managed it for 5 years. It wasn't great.
No, it wasn't good at all.
The run he had with the Yankees, like I said, 4 championships, 6 World Series appearances. What Joe Torre did, that it in his number one talent was being a buffer between the players and Steinbrenner. He took all the heat from Steinbrenner and kept it away from his players. And I thought that was the biggest key to the Yankees' success when Torre was the manager.
Yeah, because he wasn't
keeping George off the players' back.
Yeah, because George is a lunatic. He was a lunatic. And Torre had the kind of personality where he would just take it. He wouldn't yell back. You could see him in a room just getting screamed at and just say,
he knew how to handle him.
You know,
that's it, bro. He knew how to handle Steinbrenner, and that was huge. That was really huge, no doubt.
They had the Yankee thing. Did you see last night? They really previewed that Derek Jeter documentary at the
No, I'll pass.
Yankee State. Yeah, me too.
I don't need to see Jeter.
Did you watch the '86 one, the 30 for 30?
I saw enough of Jeter. I watched Jeter kill my team for a long. Everybody talks about all these guys that were these Met killers. Chip and Jones, Pat Burrell. I mean, different guys that have killed the Mets over the years, right? Nobody killed them more than Derek Jeter. I think Derek Jeter batted about 900 against the Mets. Something like that.
Now you went 25 years on the Fan. No champ. Were you there before the Rangers? Well, the Rangers had already won.
I saw no championships for any of my teams.
That's wild. And the way you started on it, a lot of people say, to me, it doesn't seem like a contest. To me, it seems like nobody there wanted to work on that day, and they say, "Oh, let's ask the callers, some of the callers, if they want to come in." Is that how it went?
I don't know. I never thought it was a contest. I just thought it was they called it a fan appreciation day, and I never looked at it as being any kind of an audition. I'll say that.
Now, how did
I guess years later, I guess I found out it was, but I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, hey, look, you're a story that's it's. I was reading a Sports Illustrated article they did on you back when you did it.
Yeah, 100 years ago. Yeah.
Well, we'll get break. I was going to ask whatever.
What you got? Well, let's finish up with the last thing. Where we got what?
The Knicks. We didn't talk about the Knicks, Joe. What are the Knicks ever going to be good again?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Not as long as Dolan owns them. Really. I mean, look, they've been so bad for the last 20 years.
Is it because he keeps his hands off the Rangers? Is it because he keeps his hands off the Rangers? Why this? Because why would the Rangers
it's amazing, isn't it? I said that so many times. It's almost impossible to believe that this guy owns the Rangers and the Knicks. But I think one of the biggest problems with the Knicks, I really think it's a major problem, is that they're the most lucrative franchise in the NBA. They're worth more money than even the Lakers. They're worth more money than even the Lakers or the Celtics, okay? And so, based on that, where is the real incentive to win? I know he tries to win, but winning is not an end-all, be-all. And this idea, okay, they still sell the Garden now.
That's crazy.
It's the trendy place to be. Oh, look at what celebrities on Celebrity Road tonight. It's all about that, okay? It's almost like going to a Knicks game now to me is almost like going to a Broadway play. It doesn't matter whether they win or lose, but this is the place to be.
And you know what? I'm done with Spike Lee, too.
How about Spike Lee complaining about the team? How about him saying something about, hey, you know what? Hey, I'm tired of being a laughing stock of the league. Do I ever hear that from Spike?
No. And even worse is Stephen A. He's even worse with the Knicks.
Well, I'm not going to a game and all this stuff every year.
Stephen A. That is what it is. That's a lot of what's. Look, I like Stephen A. A lot of his stuff is shtick. Let's be real.
It's definitely shtick.
Now Steven's an actor. He's a good dude. I used to have him on in the old days before he became a big star. But
you don't think there's any chance and they get Donovan Mitchell over to the Knicks? Come on, big Mets fan, no chance.
I don't think it. What are you giving up? What are you going to give up?
Yeah,
what are you going to give up? Obi Toppin in quickly for the guy? I mean, you have to give up something.
Where are you on
what number one pick?
Yeah, you don't want to give it up. But where are you? Where are you on the Nets situation and Kyrie and Durant?
Where do they go?
Let me tell you right now. If I'm a Net fan, I would Kevin Durant. Don't let the door hit you in the head. Get out of here fast enough.
Yeah, listen.
What did that guy do? What a joke! If I was I would clean out. I give it to everybody. Sean Marks. Steve, what a joke Steve Nash is. Oh, my God. I don't want to get political, but he's more over his head. Steve Nash is more over his head than Kamala Harris. Let's leave it at that, okay? All right? Okay? I mean, they should just get rid of everybody. Everybody should be gone.
Kyrie's just as bad. Kyrie's just as bad. Kyrie doesn't play
You know what? No. You know what? Here's why, to me, he's not. I know Kyrie's nuts. I get that. and he was vilified for not taking that vaccine. What a joke that was. Don't get me started on all of that, okay? But Kevin Durant, all right, is one, supposedly the one or two best players in basketball, okay? You bring this guy in, all right, they give him all this money, they make this trade. He doesn't play at all the first year. First year, you got to be on the trade. This is what they get from this guy. He doesn't play at all. The second year, they have a really good year. They get to the second round of the playoffs. They're up 2-0 to Milwaukee, and they blow the series, and they lose. Okay? All right? This past year, right, okay, he misses. I understand about Kyrie and the vaccine and all of that craziness. Okay, fine. He misses, 20-something games this year? He's hurt for 20-something games, Durant? And how many of those games did the Nets win? 3? 4? Something like that, right? They barely make the playoffs. They got to win that stupid little tournament they have now at the end of the year. They got to win that to get into the playoffs, and then they get they lose that first game of the playoffs. When they should have won in Boston when Tatum had that tip in at the buzzer.
Made Durant look like a fool. Game. Yeah, it made him look like a fool.
Right. They wind up getting swept, and that's it. And now he wants out. Well, get the hell out. And this guy, let me tell you with Durant, this kills me with Durant too. This guy has never won a championship as the lead player on his team, okay? He was in Oklahoma City. You had James Harden. You had Russell Westbrook. He couldn't win a title. It was to LeBron in Miami, okay? Right? He runs away, and he goes to, where does he go? Oh, let me go to the Warriors. They won a championship already. Let me hook up with Curry and Green and Klay Thompson and all of that. Okay, he wins 2 championships. And he might have been the best player on the team. Fine. But you know what? The Warriors have won again without him. Okay? They won again without Durant. And look at what Durant has done in Brooklyn. Yeah. And now he can't wait to leave.
And where does he want to go, Joe?
Let me go to Miami. Let me go to
Phoenix.
Phoenix, right?
They got 65 wins.
They should trade him to Siberia.
They got 65 wins without him.
They're talking Toronto now. I think they love Canada.
How about you go to a better team?
He should go to Canada. He should love it up there.
It's a big tarnish on his dynasty. Every time someone gets tough, he's out.
He can go hang out with Justin Trudeau in Canada. God bless him. See you.
I mean, and it's a big tournament. Now, where do you put Curry? What's Curry's legacy? Is he top 10? I know he's greatest shooter. Where do you have him?
Well, that's what he is. I mean, Steph Curry to me is the greatest perimeter shooter of all time. That's what he is. He's an all-time great. I mean, is there any denying it? He's won 2 championships. 4 championships.
He stuck it out.
How many times have you been to the final?
He stuck it out through a rebuild. Things got tough the last 2 years. He stuck it out. He didn't ask out or anything like that.
Got his finals MVP.
No, Curry's an all-timer. Yeah. Curry's an all-time great player. There's no denying that.
Like I
said, the best perimeter shooter there ever has been.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, I read so you have now you're speaking of the golf course. You have 2 hole-in-ones?
At 2.
2. Right. Where were they?
You throw enough crap at the wall and you get lucky. It's funny you say that because I almost got one today.
Really?
I came pretty close to getting my 3rd one today.
Did you make the birdie putt? Did you make the birdie putt?
I did not make the birdie putt. No, I got the par. I got the par. I did not make the birdie putt.
You never make the birdie putt.
I had about a 7-footer downhill for birdie.
Oh wow!
I almost dunked it in on the fly. It almost went in on the fly. I got the par though.
What courses? Jersey courses?
No, this was actually Blue Hill up in Pearl River.
No, the 2 hole-in-ones.
Oh, the 2 hole-in-ones I got. The first one I got was at Rivervale Golf Club.
Yep.
And the second one I got was at the Old Japan Golf Club.
Oh, okay.
The first one I got in 2017, and this one, the second one I got last year, 2021.
All right. So before we go, tell us again. Tell us all about the podcast. Go for it.
Well, you know what? It's every Monday and Friday. It's the Oda Payne podcast. We do, obviously we break down all the sports. We're getting into a little politics too because it needs to be addressed. And that's what we've been doing. We do a lot of interviews. We'll have more interviews coming down the road. We're going to have another live podcast coming up on July 29th at our favorite place, the Hackensack Brewing Company with the great Mike Jones and Company. So Friday, July 29th, if you want to catch us with another live podcast, we'll see we'll have some surprise. We've had John Jastrzemski there with me doing those. We got Kim Jones doing with me. So we'll have another surprise coming up. We'll see who we have for that one. I'm working on a couple different people.
Nice. I think we're going to go to that one, bro. We got to meet you in person now after this. So that Joe, just want to thank you so much for coming on. I also want to thank your daughter Erin. She's the best. She hooked
She's
us
done
up.
a great job. Erin's done a tremendous job.
She has. She's done a great job.
Thanks so much for being on.
Thanks
Joe.
for coming on,
Appreciate it.
Joe. Joe Benigno, everybody.